This is the Crown Prince's palace. Shall we go directly to the reception hall? Or do you prefer to take a look? There's not much to see. I want to take a look. I'm curious to know how you usually spend your time. Winfred had suggested it simply to break the awkward silence, but when Isla said she would look, she scratched her cheek with a slightly embarrassed expression. It was because he was unnecessarily embarrassed that she was curious about him. Yes, this is my office. It's where I take care of the Crown Prince's affairs and take various classes. I see. And this room is where I draw as a hobby. Isla looked at Winfred's study curiously. It occurred to him that perhaps his portrait was painted there. I saw the portrait you drew. The one you made me. He was exactly like me. Ah, you already saw that. I am ashamed for no reason. The Duke and Duchess probably never saw you as a child, so I drew it in a hurry to show them at least a portrait. Hearing that Isla had seen the painting, Winfred blushed. He felt a wave of regret. If he had known he would see it, he would have put more effort into the drawing. Can I see another painting? Yeah. Of course. I put it on display here. Winfred cheerfully led her to the room where her paintings were displayed. It was a space full of drawings that he had made as a hobby since childhood. Isla looked at each of Winfred's drawings. In the landscape depicting the palace gardens from the window and in the portrait depicting the emperor, empress, Joseph and other employees, it seemed as if all of Winfred's paintings were imbued with her warm personality. Of all the paintings, his favorite was the first Winfred painted, a self-portrait drawn with rough, crooked lines. How cute. I drew it when I was 5 years old. Looking at it now, it's very funny. He doesn't look anything like me. Winfred stood next to the painting and made a similar expression, saying that she had nothing in common with it except 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth. Wow, it looks exactly the same to me as it does now. When Isla smiled and joked, he seemed sullen. Am I that ugly? No, he's just as cute as now. Winfred hiccuped, surprised by her sudden words. You just said he was cute, right? A pleasant warmth spread throughout his body, as if someone had lit a spark of heat in his chest. When friends his age found out he was cute, he would get angry and say they treated him like a child, but Winfred was not at all offended. How could he be dissatisfied when Isla saw him so well? I've heard compliments about how handsome I am. Are you interested in drawing? Winfred said, steeling herself to speak. Well. I've never learned it, so I'm not sure. But if I have the chance, I would like to try it. Oh really? So I teach you? Looking into his eyes, bright with anticipation, Isla couldn't help but chuckle. How could she refuse when he wanted her so desperately? Yeah. Show me when you have time. Yes, okay. So, shall we go to the living room? Surely they have prepared something to snack on. Winfred guided Isla with a light step. The thought of spending time alone with her, teaching her to draw, filled her with excitement. When he got to the living room, he wiped the already clean chair with his handkerchief so that Isla could sit down. Isla covered her mouth and laughed softly at the sight. I'll check it in a moment. While the tea was on the table, Chief Chamberlain Joseph approached and plunged his silver spoon into the cup. I was checking to see if it was poisoned. Winfred coughed clearly, indicating that she had finished checking and should leave quickly. It seems there is no problem. Then I'll go out. Joseph felt sad that the Crown Prince, whom he had raised since childhood, treated him badly when he started dating, but he sighed softly and walked out. There was a brief awkwardness between the two. Isla fiddled with her fingers, her face tense, and Winfred fidgeted with her hands, too, nervously. A promise is a promise, so I guess I'll tell you my secret now. He sighed deeply and opened his mouth. In fact, I'm 4 years older than you. that? What did you say? Although he had mentally prepared himself to calmly accept whatever she said, Winfred was stunned by Isla's seemingly pointless confession. Suddenly, he said that he was older than him. What kind of nonsense was that? So, I don't know where to start explaining. If I told you this is my second life, would you understand? Isla began her story calmly. The story of having been deceived by Byron and believing herself to be his biological daughter. The story of killing his biological father, Roderick, in revenge. And the story of being abandoned by Byron and being murdered. I'm not sure what exactly happened here, but I think my mother magically went back in time. So I was 12 again. Isla's story was hard to believe, but strangely, Winfred accepted it as if she already knew it. Because he felt like all the questions he had been asking were answered at once. That feeling he had when they met, like he was being scolded by a woman a few years older than him. And the way he thought she acted, like she knew what would happen in the future. And, above all, now I understood why his eyes always looked so sad. Winfred's eyes stung for no reason. Even though it was none of his business, he felt his heart break as he thought of the sadness and anger Isla must have felt. He drank the tea in one gulp for no reason. If he didn't, he might end up crying awkwardly in front of her. So, what do you think? Do you still think I'm innocent? Isla looked Winfred in the eyes and asked. I already knew the answer. I just wanted confirmation. May his faith remain unchanged. Of course. The guy who used you is the bad guy, they just used you. Thank you. And when she heard the answer she had been waiting for, Isla lowered her head slightly and gave a weak smile. Although he said he firmly believed in it, he was very worried that he would come to dislike Winfred. By the way, I finally understand it. When I met you, you said something about a boy who wandered around at night. I thought my older sister was going to scold me back then. He smiled playfully and brought up the old story. But the more he talked, the more he felt something strange. His breathing became strangely labored and his throat was rough. Winfred, are you okay? Is it because I heard such a surprising story? Haha. When Isla looked at him with a worried expression, Winfred tried to smile as if everything was fine. Maybe it was because he had heard such a shocking story. However, contrary to his thoughts that he would soon improve, his physical condition gradually became strange. Winfred. Oh, Winfred clutched her chest in pain. His consciousness seemed to fade. I'll call people soon. Be patient. Isla threw open the door with a panicked expression. He felt like he needed to call someone for help right away. Is there anyone out there? Call a doctor immediately. What's wrong, princess? Joseph, who had been waiting at a distance until the story was finished, approached with a bewildered expression. Winfred is behaving strangely. He appears to be having difficulty breathing. At the sudden turn of events, Isla felt her body tremble. He couldn't believe this was happening before his eyes. Just moments ago, Winfred had been conversing with her without any problem. So why was this happening all of a sudden? Could it be poison? If someone had poisoned Winfred, they had to find out what poison it was as soon as possible and find a way to detoxify it. He took a deep breath, trying to calm himself. With his knowledge of toxicology, he knew he could find a way to save Winfred. However, his shocked heart was not easily calmed. What if Winfred dies like this? So, as she imagined the worst-case scenario, Isla felt her legs give out. Tears welled up in her eyes. Just now, you promised to teach me how to draw. I was afraid. She feared that he would not be able to keep that promise. He feared losing Winfred forever. That fear led Isla to a conclusion: she loved Winfred more than she thought. He began to regret not having expressed his feelings more sincerely. I should have thanked him, given him so much comfort. He should have at least told her that he liked her. No, Winfred will not die. I will save you. Isla shook her head from side to side, trying to push away the negative thoughts that were assailing her.